Hello and welcome to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a very happy Easter Sunday to you all. Now, what are we doing today, puzzle-wise? We're going to have, because I was thinking Easter eggs, we're going to have a go at a puzzle called Count Me In by Oskode, Oskode is a new name to me, I think. I'm not sure I've ever done a puzzle by Oskode. But there is some controversy about this puzzle because we've had it recommended to us, we've had it requested to us. When we get requests to do puzzles, it's typically from people who've bashed their heads against the puzzle for quite a long time and haven't been able to quite see their way through. So we've had both of those things, and I found it on Logic Masters Germany. It's got an enormously high approval rating, of course. But it's got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty. And if we look at the comments, people are saying, I don't know what was so difficult about this. Some snooker fan, who I view as an absolutely brilliant judge of a puzzle, says the difficulty level is just around 3 stars. But then Zonny says it's nice and challenging. Let me just see. Very nice and quite challenging, says Chaka. So I am not sure what to make of this. But I'm looking forward to finding out. That is for sure. It's got a really short but very interesting rule set. This one is. There's a sort of counting circles type idea going on with it, and we'll read the rules together in a moment or two's time. But Easter Sunday, let me just get back to thinking about chocolate. Well, Easter eggs, which in my mind means chocolate. Very special day, of course. I hope that you've all got the Easter eggs you were expecting and that they were suitably chocolatey. And bizarrely, on Easter Sunday, I have no birthdays to do today. So I hope I haven't missed anybody who I was meant to shout out. But perhaps you're all too busy opening your Easter eggs to worry about Easter Sunday and birthdays. So what else can I tell you about? If I've got no birthdays to do, and I've wished you all a happy Easter, I will mention that tomorrow night at 10 p.m. UK time, that's Easter Monday, Mark and I are going to be returning to the Blueprints mansion, where it's getting very exciting. So do join us there if you've been following that journey at all. I think well, I'm quite excited about going back for the 39th time or something. Yeah, that'll go live at 10 p.m. UK time tomorrow. And of course, over on Patreon, we have got our Sudoku competition running for the month of April. This is Sandra and Nala's Sudoku hunt. Lots of fog of war Sudokus and a couple of other things as well to try to tackle in order to win the chance to come onto the channel and appear in a video. So if that might appeal to you, do get involved. You've got until the 20th to send in your answers. And the feedback we've been having so far on those puzzles has been, as you might expect from Sandra and Nala, terrific. And not too difficult either. So, yeah, get stuck in. And that's all the news. So why don't we have a go at Count Me In by Oskode. Let's read the rules of this one together and see if we can figure out how to solve it. We have got fill all rows column. Oh, that's normal Sudoku rules. Yeah, okay, so we've got normal Sudoku rules applying. So we've got to put digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Then we've got a counting loop. We have to draw a 1-cell wide loop in the grid, passing through the centres of some orthogonally adjacent cells. The loop does not touch itself, not even diagonally. And a digit on the loop indicates how many times that digit appears on the loop. So, what we can't have in this situation is something like that. Because that sort of loop, you can see, it touches itself at this vertex between these 2 cells. The loop has touched itself diagonally. Too naughty for words. We'd get the puzzle wrong if we did that. And yeah, okay. And we also can't create loops that do that because this loop is not orthogonally connected. Orthogonally connected means shares an edge with. It does not mean just shares a vertex with. So this is not a loop in accordance with the instructions. we could make it a loop by making it a square like that. Yeah, and we've got this funny rule that says a digit on the loop indicates how many times that digit appears on the loop. So imagine there was a loop, and this loop's not going to be long enough for the example I was going to do, but I was going to put a 6 on the loop. Now what that would mean is that there would be 6 6s on the loop. So it is exactly like counting circles, but it's counting digits on loops instead. So it's not exactly like it, but it's sort of like it, if you see what I mean. Now, there's another rule about these arrows. A digit in a cell containing an arrow counts how many loop cells are in the indicated direction, not including the cell with the arrow. Multiple arrows in the same cell count loop cells independent of one another. So if we look at that cell, let's just imagine that was a 4. I think what that would be saying is that there would be 4 loop cells in these. So of those 5 cells, of those 5 purple cells, 4 would be loop cells. And in this direction, of those 5 green cells, 4 would be loop cells in that direction as well. That's how I read that instruction anyway. Let me just see if there's anything else. No, they are all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I thought I would just check the recording's working. It looks like it is. That's good news. And I get 2 given digits today, which is very kind of oskode. And I suppose what we do is we think about the arrows, do we? That arrow's got to be jolly little, because it's only pointing at 2 cells in a sort of northeasterly direction. So I just think that has to be a 1 or a 2. That one could be anything as high as 8. That one, it could be 4 going westwards and 4 going sort of southeastwards. So that's 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay. That one is also a 1 or a 2, isn't it? Because in that direction it only has the possibility of seeing 2 cells. That one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that could be 1, 2. Yeah, it's going to be 5, obviously, in both directions. Those 2 I refuse to pencil mark. They could both be 8. That one can only be up to 4, actually. So these 2 are quite restricted. Oh no, that's terrible. So it must be these 2 that we have to focus on, I think. Now, yeah, okay. So we can start here, I think. This cell here, could it be a 2? And I'm going to claim that it couldn't be, because if it was a 2, both of these cells would be loop, but this is a corner now of the loop, and which would mean that those cells all have to be loop as well. The loop has to go into the corner and out of the corner again. And that will create a 2 by 2, which is definitely a loop that has touched itself. So that's a 1, that's a 2, and we're off to the races. Now these 2 have to both be loop. And one of those has to be loop. And what does that mean? Well, that one's obviously not a 2. If it was 4, no, that wouldn't work, would it? If this was a 4, then all 4 of those, gosh, there's some sort of parakeet war going on outside. It's better than a maverick flying over. It's more natural, isn't it? Yeah, this won't work, because this is a corner of the loop now, but that cell is definitely touching the loop at a vertex, so that you couldn't make that work. That's not going to be right. So this digit here is now only 1 or 3. 1 feels impossible. Can it be a 1? How could you get the loop? No, I don't think you can do that. how could you get the loop to just have one cell in those? Because the thing about orthogonal loops that have to connect to the next cell along them orthogonally, is that they're like London buses rather than London taxis. London taxis can famously turn on a sixpence, to mix my metaphors. But London buses, they're quite cumbersome creatures. They can't turn very easily at all. And so imagine the loop goes into this corner and turns. It couldn't then turn again. We've just looked at that up here because the loop would touch itself. So it has to keep going and then it can come out. So it's really difficult along the perimeter to have a one clue. Now, what you could have done... Yeah, actually, let's imagine this 2 clue hadn't been there. Then you might have been able to do it because you might have been able to do that and turn. And this would only have seen one loop cell. Maybe that's a possibility, but we haven't got that available to us. Because if we're saying that this cell is the one that this one clue sees, then this is clearly not loop, which makes this a corner of the loop, which makes this a 2x2 of loopage, and we can't do 2x2s of loopage, so that's wrong. So I think this is a 3, which... Now, what does that take off the table? Maybe nothing. Well, although... Well, if the loop goes in the corner, it has to do the wide turn we talked about. And if the loop doesn't go in the corner, then the 3 cells would be those 2. So these 2 are always loop, definitely. Now, can that be the loop? Then the loop... Oh, goodness, you could do that sort of thing, couldn't you? And have sort of a loop that did that. Although maybe that doesn't work in this direction. Hang on, so in this direction I've got to put 3 loop cells. Well, hang on. Haven't I just said that these 2 cells can't both be loop? Because the loop would touch itself. So of those 4 cells, if these 2 can't both be loop, those 2 are both loop. And one of these is loop. I mean, that doesn't help me with the thing at the top. Oh, goodness, hang on. Oh, well, hang on, that can't be a 2. But this thing is... This digit only sees one cell. Well, okay, this has to be very close to this, if not the same as it, I think. One of those is green and on the loop, and that will be seen by this one because it's pointing in the same direction. But if this was 4, for example, at least... How could you possibly do it? You could make this cell itself loop, and this wouldn't count itself. But then if this is 4, those 2 would have to be loop as well. And then going in the southwesterly direction, the one clue would be wrong. So this is definitely not 4 or 5. I don't think it can be 3, but I just want to think about that a bit harder. If it's 3, the only way it could be 3 is if the one itself is loop. So that this 3 is counting that cell, one of these two cells and one of these two cells, and then all of those cells would have to be off the loop. That feels... that can't be right. Can't work, can it? Let me just think about that for a minute. How would that clue work if none of these clue cells are on the loop? It would have to be, because you can't go into these cells now without the loop touching itself. So the only way this could work is if it's sort of that pattern, which I suppose would give this the opportunity to be a 1. Okay, I can't rule that out then, or at least not in a straightforward way. Bobbins. So I don't know then. This is 1 or 3. If it's, oh, well, maybe if it's 3 vertically, it doesn't work. No, because it could have those two quite comfortably. Oh, hang on, the 2 clue is pointing this way as well. Oh dear, I don't know what to do. Sorry. Is this in any way obvious? Okay, maybe this can't be a 1. If this is a 1, then we're saying those 3 cells are off the loop, because this 1 is seeing one of those 2, and that will see one of those 2 as well. So all these 3 would be off the loop. I don't know. That's also very hard to understand. I don't know what's going on here. Is this in any way straightforward? I mean, it must be more straightforward than I'm making it look, because some people are saying it's sort of a 3-star puzzle, which suggests I've missed something very... Have I missed a rule? Oh, the counting rule. I forgot about the count. But I don't know. I don't know anything about the loop. I literally know nothing about the loop in terms of what's on it. So, wow. I'm so sorry. I don't understand. Is it... okay, there must be... I'm not sure. Do I know somehow... Maybe I know which way this 3 goes. It's either those 3, and that's a corner, and that's a corner. That's one possibility. I'm looking at that, trying to understand what that means. Oh, hang on, what's this? Because this 3, it is seeing 3 there, isn't it? So this clue is at least a 4. But I think it could be a very big number as well. 1, 2, 3. Let's say this one is in 4, 5. So it could be a 7. It could be a 7. Wow. I'm having this unusual sensation, which I sometimes get during videos. But I wasn't expecting to get it quite this early with this puzzle, where my mouth isn't really able to articulate anything because I don't see where there's a weakness. I don't really understand what I've got to think about here. I'm concerned I've missed something very straightforward. And that is a little bit distressing, isn't it? Is there some way? If this is a 3, What? I mean, I don't understand what that does. Okay, it makes all of those. Oh, well, okay. I mean, that is a brutal deduction. Okay, I'm not even sure it's going to do anything either. Oh no, it will do something. Okay, I can do something with this digit, I think, but it's really not easy. It's really not easy. In fact, let me just. I'm not going to do that. I just want to think about whether I can do something a bit less brutal. It must be this, I think. Maybe I know which of. Maybe that's got to be in. That would force that shape. Or if that's in, this is not in. And that would force that shape. And that would force this. There's lots of things get forced here. That would force that shape, actually. That would be very powerful. And that would force that shape. Now. I don't know, though. I can't see what's wrong with either of those things. Okay, I'm gonna go through my brutal deduction, which I think is correct. I'm not actually sure it is, but I think it's correct. If this is a 3, one thing, the way I thought that might be able to work is like this. Because this 1 is only seeing 1 in those two directions, how could these two clues exist in the puzzle together? I think the only way is that the 1 itself would be on the loop, so it contributed to the count of 3. One of these would be on the loop, and one of these would be on the loop. Now the 1 clue is therefore working, because it sees 1 to its northeast, 1 to its southwest, and it doesn't realise it also sees itself. And the 3 clue works, 1 in those two, 1 in those two, and this one. So everything seems swimmingly okay. However, the 1 in looking in its southwest direction towards Cornwall sees its loop cell in these two, which means none of those are on the loop. Now, here is the brutal deduction. Could that... I looked at this a bit earlier. I didn't see a problem with it, but then I thought more carefully and I can see a problem with it. Because how can this exist? This has to have some positive number, so there has to be some loop down here. But obviously you can't get the loop in and out of like a little 2x2, or certainly not here. So all of this is yellow. So the only way this works is like that. But what's that digit now? And it's a 1. And now I've got 2 1s on the loop. I can't have 2 1s on the loop because there was a rule, which I sort of forgot, which said a digit on the loop indicates how many times that digit appears on the loop. So those two, so it just doesn't work, does it? But that's pretty difficult. So this, I think, is a 1, and we can get rid of some of this because we don't actually understand what it means now. But we do sort of, because this 1 is looking in that direction. We know that there's a loop cell in one of those, so that must be the same that this one's seeing. So these 3 are all off the loop. Oh. And okay, and that does my 3 clue. So now my 3 clue has to have that as a digit. Now that's off the loop. So this is a corner of the loop. The loop can't touch itself. So this, okay, so now we've got started. It was just hard to do that. This is great. This is a 6 in the corner. I don't know whether it's on the loop or not, but this 3 clue is seeing 3 greens to its left, and there are 3 greens here, and the 3 itself is not on the loop. This is not on the loop, or the loop would touch itself. Now, what does this mean? So one of these is on the loop, but the loop either does that or it does that, and then it could wiggle around. What about this one clue then? So the one clue is saying of those 5 cells, one is green only. Okay. Oh, I see. No, that's very helpful. Yeah. So if the 3 clue, if this was green, it would be a corner, and there would be 2 cells because the corner would turn, and this one clue would break. So that's yellow. We get a green in the corner. We get the turn here. The loop can't touch itself. The loop can't touch itself, so this cell here can't be green, which means that we get a big green sort of walking stick here, which might become a bigger walking stick in time. And okay, what does this mean? No idea. Got no clue. Wow, I don't know. Oh, right. Okay, here's an interesting thought. Where's 1? Actually, this is a beautiful thought. Oh my goodness. Where's 1 in box 2? Now, the answer to that is I don't really know, but I do know something a little interesting. It's in a green cell, so it's on the loop. But what does that mean about 1? If 1 has been on the loop once, we've thought about this already, it can never be on the loop again. So all the other 1s in this puzzle are off the loop. So where am I putting 1 in this box? It's got to go there. And that means these aren't 1 in box 2, which means this is a 1. I've got some digits, more digits that aren't arrow digits. Now, so hang on. We have just said that this is the only 1 in the puzzle that is on the loop, so that is off the loop. And 1 has 4 possible places in box 4. It can't be on the loop in box 6, so it's got 2 possible places there. It's got 3 possible places. I've lost my pencil mark. That's remiss of me, having that from row 9, column 5. 2. I don't know whether this cell is on the loop or not, but 2 is definitely on the loop, isn't it? So 2 appears twice on the loop. I mean, it's on the loop in box 1, so it must appear twice on the loop overall. 1 appears once on the loop overall. 3 is off the loop here, but that doesn't mean 3 is off the loop everywhere, because, well, for example, you could have a 3. Yeah, you just have to find 3 boxes where 3 is on the loop, which is not dramatically pressurized, I would think. So okay, but can I use that? Yeah, I can force this not to be a 1 now, I think. Because we looked at this with our London buses, didn't we? The only way 1 can be in this cell to say one of these only is green. It means the bus can't be turning down here. So the only way that could work is if you had this sort of pattern and a turn. Then this could be a 1. But there's a problem there, because this would be a 1 on the loop, and that's a 1 on the loop. So that can't be worked. We'd have 2 1s on the loop. So this is 2 or 4 now. If it's 4, it's very dramatic. maybe not dramatic enough, but it's... Oh, hang on. I've just had a different thought altogether, which might... this might be why people... Oh, Simon, you silly man. Hang on. I need to think about something here. I don't know. I don't know if this is relevant, but I'm going to make the point. I was thinking about this column. I was actually thinking about this 2 clue and where it would go. If we were doing this sort of thing. And I was thinking about, could I have the whole of column 1 green? And you can't. Because what this counting loop idea is doing is it's effectively stipulating the length of the loop, isn't it? Because if I've put 1 1 on it, that means there's 1 digit. If I know there's going to be a 2 on it, so there's going to be 2 2s. If I put a 6 on it, there would be 6 6s. So the digits that I place on the loop are specifying its length. You just add up. So 6 6s, they're going to be 6 cells of 6s. 2 2s, that's going to be 2 cells of 2s, etc. Now, so is it possible, if this entire column was green, what would that mean? Well, we'd have to use the secret, wouldn't we? The secret of Sudoku, something I share with only my very favourite people, but of course, if you're watching this video, you're definitely one of my favourite people. The secret of Sudoku is that if you add up the Sudoku digits once each, all 9 of them, you get 45. And I know that the loop that we end up drawing in this puzzle is not 45 cells long. How do I know that? Because it's a loop. No, that's not a very good answer. It's sort of a bishop's colour argument. Let's say the loop started here. Then what we have to do is return to this same cell, don't we? And in order to do that, I will have to take an even number of steps. And I've talked about this argument before in puzzles of this nature. You may say, okay, well that's fine. How do you know that to get back to this cell you'd have to take an even number of steps? Well, it's to return to the same bishop's colouring. If you think about, imagine that the grid was divided into cells that a chess bishop on the purple cell could ever move to. You'd get this sort of shading, wouldn't you? And hopefully you can see that in moving from the purple cell, you'd move off this bishop's colour. And then to return to this, and then the next cell after that, whichever way you went, would return you to that same bishop's colour. So in order to get back to this cell, which I will have to do in order to create a loop, I will have to go an even number of steps. Now, 45 is not an even number, so it's not possible that this column is entirely green. In fact, what we're going to have to do, because 45 is odd and the length of the loop is even, we're going to have to miss off from the loop digits that sum overall to an odd number. So if there's one odd number missing, that would be okay. But if there's more than one odd number missing from the loop, there would have to be an odd number of odd numbers missing from the loop. So it could be something like 3, 5, 7 or something like that, in order to ensure that overall the loop was an even length. So, hang on, we can't put another 1 on the loop, can we? So, actually, in box 1, so I know that the overall length of the loop, because these digits here, that 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 6 digits there that are definitely not the digit 1 that are on the loop in box 1. So the minimum length of the loop now is going to be, if we minimized these digits as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, plus the 1 here, because the 1 has been on the loop, that would give us a 28 length loop, which would be a valid length loop. But if that was green, then you'd have, because the 1 is on the loop here, you'd have 7. You'd have 8 digits overall that were on the loop. So this digit would have to be an odd digit that was off the loop everywhere. I wonder if that's what's going on. I wonder if we could prove 9 wasn't on the loop. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to do some of this thinking because I suspect that's how some of these expert solvers have concluded that this is a relatively straightforward puzzle. Perhaps they can just intuit the length of the loop, and therefore it's obvious to them. Oh, here's an interesting thought. See this 2 clue here? It's not those two. It's not those two. Because if it was, how on earth would you do this so that the loop worked? You can't take this cell now because the loop's touched itself all over the place. Naughty loop. So this would have to be loop. Can't touch our cells, so we'd have to go, that cell would be loop. And now look, where are we going to make the loop go next? Because it can't go there. So this one's going to go there, this one's going to go there, and this 1 clue won't work. So that suggests if those 2 aren't on the loop, that is on the loop. But we're getting ourselves in a right pickle here with column 1. Because now if this is a 4, the puzzle, that's right, this is a 2. This is a 2 for a beautiful, beautiful reason. Because, here we go. If this is a 4, oh, I tried to make it a 4 and it did a colour. If it's a 4, all 4 of these are on the loop. The loop turns. It's a bus, so it can't turn again. It has to continue. And we've said it's impossible for this column to be entirely green. But that wasn't the end of the story. Because what do we know? There's a digit in column 1 that cannot be on the loop. Because we've already had 1, 1 on the loop. So we can't have 1 in this column on the loop. So this would have to be a 1 off the loop. But that would mean all 8 other digits apart from 1 were on the loop in column 1. But we also know 1 is on the loop elsewhere. So all 9 Sudoku digits are on the loop, and the loop would be 45 long, and it can't be 45 long. It can't be. So this is not a 4, that is a 2. Now, so, oh, right, hang on. But I was about to make the same argument, and so, but obviously the loop can't go here. If the loop goes there, it takes 3 cells in the bottom row. In fact, I'm realising it can't go there for the same reason. That would be a turn of the loop. The loop would have to continue. The 2 clue would be wrong. So the 2, okay. So the 2 are these 2. That's a turn of the loop. That's off the loop. The loop must continue through here. So the 2 itself is... Right, this is interesting. The 2 itself in the bottom row is shaded. And I know there's a shaded 2 in this box as well. So that's all the shaded 2s that can live in the puzzle. In fact, let's put this in. This is a beautiful puzzle, by the way. It's really deep what's going on here. And now, 2 on the loop, 2 on the loop, that 2 is off the loop, because we've had our 2 2s on the loop. Every other 2 in this grid is off the loop. Now, what can we do with that? So there's a 2 in one of those that's off the loop. There's a 2. Yeah, where's 2 in box 3? Don't know. But it's in one of those 3 because it can't be on the loop, which takes 2 out of those cells. So 2 is relatively restricted in box 1 now. Okay. Oh, hang on. I worked out that was on the loop, didn't I? Because if those 2 were on the loop, I had a problem. So this is on the loop. And one of those 2 is on the loop. Which... Oh, that's almost impossible, surely. Hang on. I reckon I can disprove that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go back to the 2 clue here. If this was on the loop, how can we make the loop work? Obviously, this is now off the loop, or the loop's done some strange touching of itself. So these 2 are on the loop, which means the loop does this and this. And now I just want to look at column 1 in this situation, and I want to think about what digits are going in those 2 cells, because I've got a problem now, because I've had all my 2s on the loop. I've had a 2 in this box and a 2 in this box on the loop. So the 2 in this column actually, am I wrong? Maybe that could be a 2. I might be wrong, actually. I'd have to put 1 off the loop. Yeah, maybe this does work then. Oh, okay. That would be off the loop. All of this would be off the loop. Ah, okay. I'm going to do it differently then. Okay, I thought I could do something in column 1. I was erroneous, but I can do something different. If this is the shape of the loop, where is the 2? No, that's okay, isn't it? Because I could put the 2 there. Sorry, I think I'm going absolutely crazy. I think it gets very difficult to put the 2s everywhere that I need to put them. But maybe it's not impossible. I think it's getting difficult. Where's 1? Maybe I can put a 1 here and a 1 over here. So let me just think about this. So I'm sorry if it could well be totally obvious. I'd have to put... I think what I've done wrong in my brain is to think 1 and 2 in column 1 have to be off the loop. I don't think that's quite right. 1 definitely has to be off the loop. 2 would have to be off the loop if this wasn't a 2. But if that was a 2, then one of these can be a 1, and one of these could be an odd digit. That would be correcting, if we want to use that phrase, correcting the length of the loop. Wow, okay, so I can't do my trickery there, I'm afraid. No trickery is available. Right, so we're going to have to think again. And how shall we do that? No idea. Do we know anything about the overall length of the loop? I know that cell's not on the loop, because that would be a corner of the loop and the one clue would break. So that's off the loop. So this one clue is getting fulfilled by this. This one clue is getting fulfilled by one of these being a 1. So one of those is a 1. One of these, not a 1. One of these is on the loop. One of those is on the loop. And okay. Maybe. Here's a different thought, actually. No, I'm not sure. Wait. Maybe it's this one I meant to think about. I'm wondering whether this is on the loop, actually. Because if that's on the loop does this, but that's going to force it to do that in order to not touch itself. And then I don't think you can get the loop out of box 3. Because it's going to come down and touch itself. So this cell is off the loop. But the reason I started to think about that was actually I was thinking about this digit. I was wondering what it is, and whether I have to come through this sort of passage through Scylla and Charybdis in order to make this a valid... I think maybe it could be a 3. Or, okay, maybe it could be a 4 as well. I hadn't thought about that. It does something like this. How is this cell not on the loop? That must be on the loop, mustn't it? Otherwise that's a corner and we get a 2 by 2, so that's on the loop. So still don't know whether this one's on the loop, because I think that one could be on the loop and it do a little shimmy down there. Oh, this is so interesting. I'm not quite there yet, am I, in terms of really cracking open how to... But I feel I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So if that is off the loop, okay, let's try this argument. If that's off the loop, I was trying to do it a different way before, but now I'm going to try and do it this way. If that is off the loop, we can now see in this row, these two can't be on the loop because it would be a cul-de-sac. So these would be off the loop as well. Now what is this clue, which is on the loop? Well, it can't be a 1 because we've already had a 1 on the loop. So this would have to shimmy, but that would make this a 2, and I've already got 2 2s on the loop. So it's impossible. It doesn't work. So this is on the loop, which means it's not a 1, which means this is off the loop, because the 2 clue has to work. Now, okay, so the 1... Right, the 1 in box 4 is now looking at this one. So this is a 1, and a 1 is off the loop, because we've already had our 1 on the loop. So this is good, because now all 3 of those are off the loop. Otherwise the loop would touch itself, and the loop comes down column 9 a little bit. And it goes into one is in one of 3 cells in box 9. This digit we know can't be a 2, so it's at least 3, and it could perhaps be as big. Oh, it can't be 5. No, it can't be 5, because the loop would come round here and go up there, and then this would be stranded. So it's not 5. It might be able to be 4 if the loop does this. Maybe. And to be 3, it couldn't go through there. So it would do a sort of rinky-dink like that. Which again, that might be fine too. One of these. one of these is green, depending on what this is. This 2 is correct. And, what does this all mean? I don't know. I feel I'm about to go into some sort of hiatus again. I'm becoming dormant for the next few minutes until my brain thinks of something else. Come on, brain. Don't get tired. Think of something. But what? I hear you ask. I don't know. Hang on. I've got an 8 off the loop. How long is this loop? What's this? Okay, let's do this. What is the shortest length of loop we could possibly have given what we've got in the grid? So if we had a loop that did this, raced over here, went down, we have to be a bit careful about how we do that. So see, that's really quite a lengthy loop. Why is my phone buzzing? That's okay. I'm not sure that's the shortest loop. I'm pretty sure it's very close to the shortest loop. So let's just add up how long that would be. 6, 11, 13, 17, 20, 24, 26, 33. 33. That's not very good, is it? Because 33 leaves us a lot of leeway. I suppose you couldn't have a 33 length loop because that's an odd number. So 34 is probably the minimum. All right, maybe it changes then if instead of that we do that path. How long? So again, we could do, this might be a shorter loop actually. So something like that. I mean, that's not going to work because I've got too many loop cells in column 1, but it's not really changing the length to go straight up rather than take those 3. We take those 3. It doesn't change the length of it. So let's check this. We've now got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 20, 23, 26, 27, 32, 35, 38 has got longer. 38 would be great because then I would know 9 and 8 would be on the loop. So if this does go down here, you learn a lot of things about a lot of things. Was there really that dramatic a difference then between if this does this and then we'd have to do... That's really extraordinary, isn't it? So that would be an efficient way of drawing the loop if we do go through this Scylla and Charybdis rather than this one. So I'm just going to recount this because I'm astonished that it's so different. 6, 11, I remember saying that last time. 13 and 4 is 17, 20, 24, 25, 26, 26. No, it's much bigger this time. 30, it's 37 again. What? I don't understand. What's going on? I'm so sorry. I think I'm being completely dense. I need to really concentrate on this because if it is true that either way the loop is drawn, the minimum length of it is 37, which is an impossible length, so it would go up to 38 as a minimum, then obviously you can't miss a 9 out from the loop, or an 8. Because if you miss an 8 off the loop, the maximum length of a loop is 45 minus 8, which is 37, which is an impossible length, so the minimum length would have to be 36. And we've just, well, we might have just shown that's an impossible length of the loop. So let's do it again. So firstly, what we're going to, and we're going to do it really carefully this time, I'm going to say it goes through this cell. It still has to visit this cell, so it would have to take those, it would have to do that, wouldn't it? There's no other option. And then somehow it gets from there to there, but it doesn't matter how it does it. You know, it can wiggle, but providing it does it efficiently, it's going to take 5 more cells to get to join from there to there. So that is one version of the shortest loop. And that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, 28, 30, 34. That's 38 long now. Well, we were expecting an even length. So 38 is a possibility. Right, so let's get rid of the purple. And instead of it going through here, we'll say it goes through here. In which case you can see these, efficient here, join this here. And then again, we've got to close the loop there. But we can do that with 3 cells in a whole variety of ways, but it will always be 3 if we're being efficient. And again, we know it's 5 to get from here to here. So how long is this loop? So it is 6, 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 20, 23, 26, 32, it's 38 again. So it is at least 38 long, this loop, which means, oh, this is huge. It means that 9 and 8 are on the loop. Now, I know this 8 is off the loop, so every other 8 in the puzzle is on the loop, and every 9 is on the loop, every 9. Now, what on earth does that mean? The answer might be almost nothing, you know. That's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, that's quite a deep deduction. It's done nothing. I'm so sorry. No, oh, come on. You meanie. You absolute meanie. I've just noticed the loop can't go in that cell because that's a cul-de-sac. Now it can't go in those. So oh, wait a second. Oh, don't do that. No, okay, hang on. Oh, why does my brain do that? Oh no, my brain might be wrong as well. No, my brain is probably right. Okay, I think the simple deduction here is that 8 and 9 in box 5 have to be in those, and they have to be on the loop. Oh, that would be huge. That's what it does. In fact, that's much easier. I was thinking about column 4 and wondering where 8 and 9 were in there. But let's look at this. I have just said that 8 and 9, these are the only, well, this is the only instance of 8 in the puzzle that is off the loop. There is an 8 in box 5, so it must be on the loop. So it must be there, because all these cells are off the loop. And we can run that same argument with 9 in this box. So this is an 8-9 pair. And both of them have to be on the loop. And that tells us how the loop progresses. And the loop doesn't go there anymore. So the loop does go here. It doesn't. That's a corner of the loop. The loop comes down column 1. Column 1's got so much loop real estate in it. It's a little bit worrying. Yeah, this can't be a 1 anymore. It would be on the loop. So this is a 1. So I've got 6 1s in the grid, one of which is on the loop, and all the ones down here have to be off the loop. I've still got to be super careful with 2. Just about to do it again. 2 in column 1. I keep thinking it can't be there for some reason, which is just total and utter nonsense. So, 2 has to be off the loop in box 6, because we've got our 2 2s on the loop, are the 2 there and the 2 here. Oh, where's 8 in box 4? It's got to be on the loop. It's there. So 9 is on the loop in box 6. 9 is on the loop in box this box here, but I don't know where it goes. So 9 gets restricted a little bit in box 6 then. And what does this mean? No idea. Oh, wait. I know what we have to do, surely. Wait. Okay. Look at box 1. There is now one cell in box 1 that isn't the digit 1, which is off the loop. Which means that these 7 cells are all on the loop, plus this 1 is an 8 different numbers in this puzzle are on the loop. So this is an odd number, and it never appears on the loop, and it's the only number in the puzzle that never appears on the loop. And we know it's odd, therefore, because the loop has to be an even length. So this is, and it's not 9 actually, it's 3, 5 or 7. And the overall length of the loop then is 42, 40 or 38. And 38 we've seen is very possible, which would make this a 7. But here's the next question. Where is this digit in this box? Because remember, this digit is not allowed ever to be on the loop. So it's there. It's not 9 then. This cell is not a 9 and it's off the loop. And then this digit is in one of those 3 down there. Maybe I'll use circle. I don't know. I'm going to use a circle, I think. I'm not sure I want to. Oh, I don't know actually now. I'm not sure. That's probably a 3 actually. It almost has to be a 3. Because if this is... I was thinking about where... I'm going to use shading again. This digit in this box, we know it's an odd digit, so it's not that one, and it's never on the loop, so it's in one of those 3, which means it's in one of those 2. So it's very nearly having to be this 3, isn't it? So this digit is 3, 5 or 7. There's a purple digit down there, which is, and I know that corner digit is off the loop. Oh, where is the purple digit in box 6? Don't know, but it's in one of those 2, so it's not there anymore. Bobbins, I don't know then. And which arrow clues have I failed to use at this point? Because I feel like there are a few. Oh, that digit. Yeah, that digit has to be on the loop in box 2. It's got to be there. Those are the same digit. Let's give that a little A to make sure that we're sure. And B, which is this one then, is going to be in one of those 2 cells. I was thinking about this before. Look at this column. Can this be on the loop? I don't think it can, because this will be stranded. So this is off the loop. And I was wondering about 8 and 9 in column 4. Now that's one of them. We know that this is the only 8 that isn't on the loop. And all 9s are on the loop. So this is an 8 or a 9. Oops. And this is the digit A, using a process of elimination. I don't know whether it's 9 or 8, but that is what it is. Now, what else could we do then? Don't know. Not sure. It's probably these two arrows, but they're so terrifying. I mean, they could be anything, couldn't they? Maybe they can't be 1. Oh, that one. Actually, that one really can't be 1. Because it already sees 2 in its row. And if this was a 1, it would be off the loop. Ah, that just breaks immediately. Oh, sorry, I can just get the 1. Yeah, if this was a 1, we can see that it already sees its 1 cell in its row. So how does this get to there? It can't go through there, can it? So it would have to go through this cell, but that would make this cell a 1 on the loop, which we've already had 1 of, so we can't do that. So the 1 must go in the corner, which means it's not the purple digit. The purple digit we know is 3, 5, or 7. Oh, I've got a horrible feeling this isn't going to do anything. Ah, I get that digit now. That's a 4. But 4 is such a weak digit, isn't it? It's me at a party. It really is. It's just not interesting because there are 4 4s on green cells in the puzzle and 5 4s in yellow cells. So it's not going to be the clever deduction that we need. Well, I don't think it is. What on earth do you do now? I know one of these is purple. If the top one's purple, the bottom one is also purple. Or not purple, but also yellow. And that would go through there. At least one of these. Yeah, I was wondering how many rinky-dinks we could do, actually. Because there's probably not that much rinky-dinkage to do, is there? You can do a bit of a rinky-dink here to lengthen the loop. And you can, compared to the most efficient loop you could draw to connect this to this, you could do quite a dramatic rinky-dink and extend the loop that way. Oh, which is why these are here, is it? Probably is. I know one of these is definitely off the loop. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I know this is a 2 somehow. Maybe neither of these can be a 2. I mean, if that's a 2, it's finished, isn't it? It's... Oh, wait. I've got to be... Hang on. I don't like this for some reason. Am I not going to drive? No, maybe I'm not going to drive. I was worried. I was going to drive the loop through a 1 because of this funny pattern here, but I think maybe it's all right. Let me just try and visualize that a bit more clearly. If this is a 2, this is yellow. All of these are yellow. So the way that the loop has to move is like this. No, I can see that's okay from a 1's perspective. It's not okay from a 2's perspective, though. That's it. Wow. Well, it's it for this one. That I can prove this isn't a 2. Doesn't work. It's complicated, but it doesn't work. Let me explain. If this is a 2, you can see we've already got our 2 loop cells in row 8, so we have to yellow everything else. Now, how are we going to connect these up? And the answer is very clear. We have to do this. But now we have to ask ourselves a difficult question. Where's 2 going in box 9? And the answer is on the loop somewhere. And it can't go on the loop because we've already got a 2 here on the loop and a 2 here on the loop. So this is wrong. So this cell is not a 2. So hang on, so I'm not even sure I want to prove this though. Is this actually helping me? I might be being... For some reason I felt it was going to be helpful to think about this. I'm not sure. If I knew that was... I suppose I would know that these were biggish digits. Although... I'm not sure. I might as well do this one. I'm just going to think about whether that can be a 2. Because if that's a 2, it's definitely yellow. It can't be on the loop. So the loop's going to go through there, thereby completing its final green cell in this position. So the loop is going to move like this. And then all of these are off the loop now. So the loop would move down there. This cell would have to be the 3, 5, or 7. That's this cell, wouldn't it? So this would be the purple cell. None of these are on the loop. Can you do a count of 7? You can do a count of 7. Although no, you couldn't do a count of 7 because you would end up putting a 1 on the loop to do that. But you would, in fact, it would have to be a 5. That's the only way that could work. 1, 2. How would you achieve that? How would you do that? Oh, this is really complicated. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can quite visualize it. It might be possible. Maybe there's another clue, and maybe that could well be true. I might have forgotten about another arrow somewhere that would really help me at this juncture. Or maybe the length of the loop gets into a terrible place. Oh, I hadn't thought of that, actually. That would have to be a 5. So the length of the loop, so there would be 3 cells there that would be on the loop. I would almost certainly know the length. So if this is 2, I think I'd almost certainly know the overall length of the loop. Oh no, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't know how it moved through there. Where it could just take this cell, or it could take those 3 cells. So there's a difference of 2 between those options. So I wouldn't know how long the loop was. Oh, by the way, who's saying this is a 3-star puzzle? That is nonsense. This isn't. How long have I had? An hour and 15. I'm nowhere near. No, this is a hard puzzle, I think. Yeah, I mean, you've got to. No, you may not have to, but I have found it helpful to think about things like the length of the loops being even, and what that then implies for what digits have to be on the loops and things like that. These are thoughts that I'm not claiming they're brilliant thoughts, but they're not trivial thoughts, probably. And I'm stuck now in what to do. Oh, and this 2 might be wrong. I was trying to disprove it. There might be a simple... might be a simple 8s and 9s reason or something that this doesn't work. Let me just have a look at this a little bit more concretely. So you'd be in this world. This would have to be 3. Well, it has to, because this has to come down. This is now a 5 or a 7. Now, the reason it can't be a 7, just to explain that, I've seen that this couldn't be a 7 because all these would be green. And there's a 1 in one of these 2 cells because the 1s are either in these 2 positions or these 2 positions. So that definitely wouldn't work. So this is a 5 in this situation. That's the only way it can work, is that this would be a 5. And it sees 2 here, so it sees 3 of these. But that's actually, hang on, that's green as well, isn't it? So the loop's either doing something like this, or it's rinky-dinking round. Oh, hang on, it can't rinky-dink round. I think if this is a 5, the reason it can't rinky-dink round... Oh, no, it could rinky-dink round. I'm wrong. No, it can't. Hang on. No, because it sees 4. So if it rinky-dinks round, it's seeing 6, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, so it couldn't do that. So it has to see exactly 1 more from here. So it has to do exactly this. And with this being a 5, that's the only way it can work. And that would place the final 2 1s. No, it puts 2 on the loop again. Oh! Ah, it's the same point. It's just I didn't realise. Oh, that's lovely. Wow. Okay. It doesn't work. Harder to see, perhaps. So let's just go back and visualise it again. If this is 2, this becomes green. These become yellow. This becomes a 5. We showed why that was necessary. The only way it can work, given these are both green, this is green and this is green, is for this to be green. And because this is 2, you've got a green 2 in row 8. Okay, well, what that means is probably not much, but it puts 2 in the corner. I feel like singing for that. Now, what else does it do then? And the answer might be almost nothing. It punches up these values, which now are at least, if that was a 3, it could be a 3-4 pair. Which might be fine. Wow. I mean, that actually, gosh, what a fool's errand that's been. Ah, wait. No. Nearly. I was going to say, where's 2 in box 4 here? It's got to be... No, it's got to be off the loop, Simon. But I don't know whether that's on... Oh, hang on. It's got to be off the loop. And it's not those digits, so it's actually in a column. And now I get to place 2. I get to place 2 here, and that's off the loop. So that means the loop does a little rinky-dink there, which pushes the value of this up. And 2 is now in one of those 2 cells over here, which might mean something. Maybe 9? What? Don't know. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I've got something. Where does the loop go from here? We know it doesn't go there because it would turn through both. It would turn through the purple cell, which is never on the loop. So it goes up. I don't think I know whether it goes here or not, but I now know that that's definitely off the loop. Which, you feel like that might do something, don't you? But then you realise it doesn't at all. That's extraordinary. Okay. So, what on earth do we do now? I know that this digit is not a 2. So I do know that the loop spends more time in this row, even if I don't know how much more time. But it could do. I mean, this can't be an enormous digit because, no, maybe that is worth thinking about. What is this digit actually? What can it be? It sees 2 at the moment. I think it could see 3 more, maybe, if it was that shape. Or even that shape. But it can't see 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the maximum of this digit. So this is 3, 4, or 5 only. Now this one, on the other hand, that is now seeing 3. So it's at least 3. And we can't make this one, we can't make it run through both those. So it can take one of these at a maximum, because one of these is a 2. So it could do that and that maybe. And that would make this a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 3, 4, 5, or 6. Now, has that helped me? And if your answer is no, you might well be correct. Jeepers creepers, okay. Wow. Oh, I don't know. That's amazing. I really respect this puzzle because I sense more than anything that there is very clean logic at each stage. If you were to ask a series of perfect questions, I think it would be very tractable. But actually, finding the right question to ask, because there's a lot of different things to consider, like loop length, digits that are on the loop to therefore allow that loop length to be achieved, digits that must be off the loop a sufficient number of times, the arrows. There is quite a lot going on. This one is now completed by this. Okay, let's check. Is there an arrow I have not, I might have filled it in and then not considered for some amount of time? No, I think it is just these two, isn't it? Unfortunately. Okay, let's now double check the length of the loop then, because the loop, okay, we almost know the length of the loop, frankly. There's not that many degrees of freedom because we know one of those is green. So we know that the loop is, let's start from the 2 at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just say this one. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24, 26. Now, there's a choice here. Let's just say the shortest. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 33. And I've still got to connect them up. So we're still at a minimum of 38, aren't we? I think. We're at a minimum of 38. Now, what does that mean? Does it mean anything? For it to be 38 long exactly, we would know that 7 would never appear on the loop. That is something we would know. Which actually, oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that's really rather beautiful. Ah, and it might be wrong. No, that's it. That is it. Oh, I've had this available for ages. Right, this digit can't be 7 because we know it would end up in one of these, and neither of these can be 7. And let's recapitulate the logic as to why neither of these can be 7. There's not enough space to have 7 greens left in this one. There's only 6. Well, I mean, you couldn't. It just doesn't work at all. And this one can't be 7 because it would put a 2 on the loop. So this is not a 7. Which, so it's more likely to be 3 again now. But now the length of the loop has gone up then from our minimum of 38, because the only digit missing is a 3 or a 5, so the length of the loop is 40 or 42 overall. And 7 is on the loop 7 times, and it's not on the loop here. So, it's not on the loop in column 4. Why is my phone buzzing? Oh no, okay, I needed to just look at that message. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, don't know. So if it was 3 here, one of these would be a 3. And we'd have to increase the length of the loop from the minimum 30. We could increase it here, you see, by going through the 6. And that would take us up to 40. And then I'd have to not take 5 here to get from here to here. I'd have to take 7. But I think, how many is that extra? Am I going mad? You might all say, oh, yes, you're going mad, Simon. Naughty mad, Simon. The minimum is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, isn't it? And if instead I go mad round here, then I take 9. So I increase the length of the loop by 4, which is a thing that would be an interesting thing to do. Although what you can't do is do that and make one of these a 3. Oh golly, this is confusing. So what I'm saying now is, if this was a 3, then one of these has to be a 3, which is going to stifle your ability to really take extra, it's me, Maverick, to really take extra rinky-dinks down here to extend the loop. But maybe you can still do it if you extend it up there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay, so I think I better think it out again. I'm reviewing. So one of these is green. If it was this one, I'd be much more of the mind that this was a 5. If it's that one, then I'm more of the mind this is a 3. Okay. But how do we... I'm not sure what digit whether I should be focusing on 7s or the purple digit, or I don't know. It's really hard to know what to think about. I'm not sure. It probably is these two arrows, isn't it? And there's some clever argument I could make that I'm failing to appreciate somehow. Okay, you can't. This cell is off the loop, because that would cause both of those three to be on the loop, and I'd take a 1. So that's definitely off the loop. Now this cell's off the loop, or I get a 2 by 2. Maybe this is what I had to do. Okay, so I've really limited. Have I got rid of 5 from here now? Yes, I have. 1, 4 is the max. So this is 3 or 4. I think both of which are still possible. And it's still certainly possible this is the purple digit, if it's a 3. But here's a point that might be worth making. Wow. If this was the purple digit, then what would it be? It would be a 3, because it couldn't be a 5. And that would mean the length of the loop was 42. But if this is a 3, how are we achieving that? In fact, here's an interesting thought. This cell is on the loop, and which means it's not. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, goodness. Oskode, you are a very clever person. Yeah. How can this be not on the loop? I've got to get one more green cell in the row. It can't just be that one, because that would be a turn. So this is always on the loop, which means it's not a 1, which means this is a 1, this is a 1, this is now a 2. So both of these are off the loop, which means that the loop has to go there now, which means I now know this digit is a 4, which means I know it's not the purple digit, because the purple, I don't know whether this is on the loop or not, but I do know this is the purple. So this is now 3 or 5, because we know the purple digit is odd. Now, let's see. Oh, it could be either still. But no, I don't think it can be. For this reason, I was thinking about this before when we were looking at this cell. But if this was 3, the length of the loop is 42. But I don't think I've rinky-dinked enough. I really don't. Even if I rinky-dink up here like a mad thing, I can't really rinky-dink from here to here. I'm either doing that or I'm doing that. I'm taking 2 more cells to join from there to there, whatever I do to do it. So the length of the loop now is almost entirely certain, and we're going to count it carefully, ignoring this box. So we'll start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 34. So it's 34. So can we possibly take 8 cells of loop in this box? No, because there's already 2 yellows in it. So 42 is not the length of the loop. We have to take 6 cells of loop in this box, and we can do, providing we don't take that one. Then we can do those, and that does get us to the correct number of loop cells, or a possible number of loop cells that's consistent with the rest of the puzzle. So that's not the purple digit. This is the purple digit. So not only is this not a 2, this isn't a 2. The only place for the purple digit is here. And we've just learned it's impossible to create a 42 length loop. So the purple digit is 5. Wow. Yeah, just a normal 3-step puzzle. This is 5. This is 5. Though, I was going to say there are 2 5 pair, but I seem to have it. Oh no, hang on, I've got a 2 here. Look, so one of these is a 5. This is a 5. 5 is never on the loop. This is a 5. So both of those are the purple digit. This is a 5 in the middle of the puzzle, as always, of course. So this is a 5. I feel like I've done all the 5s out of nowhere. That's not the purple digit anymore. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done them all. So yeah, I've done them all. I still don't know the shape of the loop. But maybe I do with the... Yeah, hang on. This is a 5. I've only got 3 in there at the moment. So that's how the loop finishes down there. Now I've got to put 9 into the A cell, because 9's always on the loop. So this is 8 now. One of these is 8. We can get rid of our B. 8 is always on the loop except for its existence here. So this is an 8. Okay, I believe that we might be able to get this done now. So this is 8. This is 8. 8 is in one of those 3 positions. 8. Oh no, be careful, Simon. Be careful. I never see black digits. So, okay, we're okay, probably. That was a flurry of activity, wasn't it? Now, can it go into that cell? That can't be a 2 anymore. That can't be a 2 anymore. Is it to do with 9s then? Yeah, 9 has to be there. So, oh, that doesn't help me. That doesn't help me. Bother. I mean, it's good to get the 9 in the grid. Oh, bobbins. But it doesn't give me... I thought it might give me the way that this flows. Because it's either doing that or that. And the 4... The 4 could be green, couldn't it? Because we have to get 4 4s on the green. In the green area. Oh, it'll be an arrow, is it? Is it an arrow? I've not... Oh, no! What? Okay. Okay, I don't know what this means, but that's distressing. Okay, let's take stock then, because we can do something with 7s, perhaps. No, maybe we can't, actually. Oh, okay, I noticed that I couldn't put 7 in this column or this column in green. So 7 in every other column is green. Which is, I've literally got no 7s in the puzzle. Oh, that's distressing, isn't it? Okay, what am I meant to do then? I don't know. I don't know. Wow, okay, I'm not sure. Can I do better with... Have I got all my 1s in the grid? Yeah, I've got all the 1s. Have I got all the 2s? No. And I don't think I can. I've still got this sort of X-wing of 2s left. And what do we know about 3s? We know that there's a 3 in that box that will be green. But oh, wait a second. I suppose I know it's in one of those 3 cells. There's a 3 in this box that's green. There's a 3 in this box that's green. Can only have... Oh, no, I was going to say it's quite difficult. No, it's not. It's not that difficult. 3 could... This box is quite cluttered, isn't it? 3, 6, and 7 to put into it. So, hang on. I said that in this column, well, in all columns that are not this column and this column, 7 needs to be in green. So it's not... So this is 3 or 6, and 7 is horizontal. Ooh. Okay, so 7 is in one of these 2 cells, which means 7 is definitely Okay, so let's change tack now and think about 7s in terms of boxes, because 7 in this box is not in green, and 7 in this box is not in green. So 7 in every other box is in green, which means 7 in this box is in green, which means that is not a 7, which means this is a 7. Now, 7 is in one of those two. In this box, 7 needs to be in green. So this is a 7-8 pair. Now, what do we need in this column then? Oh, so that places 7 in the middle box. It's got to go there. So 7 in this box has to be in green. 7 in this box has to be in green. Okay, so 7 now in box 1 is either in column 1 or... Yeah, or no, let's ask a different question, slightly simpler question. Where's 7 in column 2? I know it must be in green, and it can't be there by Sudoku, so it is there. So this is a 7. So 7s might be more propitious than we'd realised. Or not. I still think 7 in box 3 seems to have a lot of possibilities, unfortunately. What about this column, though? I've got virtually all the digits in it. I've not got 4, I've not got 6. So that's 4 or 6, that's 4 or 6. Doesn't seem to matter, does it? This is 3, 4 or 6. So this is a 3, 4, 6 triple, the 4 of which is in box 8. So this is not a 4. Ah, okay, so this is 4 or 6. This must be 4 or 6 by Sudoku. No, okay, I don't know what that means. Bother. Ah, but I do know what those 3 digits are now. They are 3, 6, and 9. I'm definitely pencil marking that in hope rather than expectation. I've got another cell that's a 3 or a 6. Okay, and I haven't put 2 and 4 into row 5. Maybe Sudoku will help me and be my friend. Please be my friend, Sudoku. You're so unkind to me. Naughty Sudoku. Okay, that didn't work. Sorry. What about the bottom row? 3. Is it 3, 4, 6 that's missing? Yeah. Where's 4 in the bottom row? That's been available forever, probably. Okay, so this little triple in box 3 is a 3, 4, 8 triple, so we might as well label it as such. That's not 4. Is that really the only deduction I get from that? This is 3 or 6. So these digits are a 7, 9 pair, and I do know the order for that. That's 9, that's 7. So this is 9. Okay, how many 9s have we got? All of them, actually. We can do all the 9s finally. I've got a 3, 6 pair in this column, so that becomes an 8. Now I've got a 3, 4 pair in this column, so this also becomes an 8. And these are from 3, 6, 7. And we can get the 7. So there are 3, 6 pairs everywhere. I don't quite know how we resolve them yet, and in fact in this row I can get a 4 in the grid. And in this box, what do you think we need? You're right if you were thinking 3, 6, 7. It's the equivalent of the Sudoku equivalent of the 6, 7 meme. Where is 8 in that row? It's there. So that's 7. So this is another 3, 6 digit. Probably are going to have to count either 33s again. I've got to be a bit careful with 3s, not to get too many of them into into green. I've got one here, that's 2. Yeah, if that was that's lovely. It's lovely. If that was a 3, by Sudoku, this would be a 3. I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 3s on the loop. It's not possible. So this is 6, this is 6, this is 3, this is 3, this is 6, this is 3. That's our last 3 in green. So the 3 in this box cannot be in green, which doesn't tell me where it is. It's in one of 2 places, of course. Okay, well, it's going to be some arguments like that. That 6 means this is a 3. So I've got a 4, 6 here, a 4, 6 here, a 4, 6 here. I still haven't got the loop figured out. Can you believe it? How long is this video? It's going to be 2 hours. 2 hours for a 3-star puzzle. No, come on, please. Please don't. I don't think, I mean, except I've not perhaps been, maybe I haven't even been particularly clever, but it's like, this is not easy, this puzzle. Surely. Now I don't know what to do again. Okay, so how many 6s have I got in green? I've got one that's not in green there, one that's not in green here, and one that's not in green. Hang on, 1, 2. This is important. This is hugely important. I've got 1 in box. I know 6 has to appear 6 times in green. There are 9 6s in the puzzle. 1 6 is not there. Is in box 2 is not in green. 1 6 in box 5 is not in green, and that 6 is not in green. So in every other box, 6 is in green. So this is 6. 6, 4, 4, 2, 4. Now, so that becomes 6, that becomes 4, 4, 3, 6 over here, 7, 3. So 7 goes there now. This column needs a something. 6, which is good. That's where we'd hope to have a 6. And in this row, I haven't put in. I can put 2 there. So that becomes a 3. This becomes a 3, and that becomes a 6. And okay, so the puzzles. I've done the Sudoku. I just haven't done the. Oh no! So I'm actually going to have to. Yeah, that's not too difficult though, is it? If this cell was green, I'd have 1, 2, 3. I'd have 4 greens on the loop. So that is not where the loop goes. The loop goes into the 4. Now we need to check the 4s. Let's count. How many 4s have I got on the loop? Oh, it's right, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good grief. That is a fantastic Sudoku puzzle. Yes. Taken me a very long time, oskode, but I did get it done. It's a magnificent piece of setting. Wacky and brilliant. And I'm going to look forward to the comments, actually. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. I think oskode deserves a lot of credit. And I'd be interested to know if I've missed. I accept I'll have missed Sudoku all over the place and missed. Have I missed something that would have trivialized that puzzle? That's what I'm interested in knowing. Possibly. I don't know. I did not find it trivial. I found it wonderful, though. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.